Hello again, and welcome back to our next video in our equations unit, and this one's focusing on formulas and relationships. So up until now, all of the equations that we've dealt with have involved only one pronumeral or variable in each equation. For example, we've had some equations that look like 4y minus 10 equals 90, for instance. Alright, so today we're going to look at some equations which show how two or more variables are related, what their relationship is between one another. These types of equations are often called formulas, and you're probably already quite familiar with a number of formulas. Let's have a look at some that you may have heard about already. Okay, so for starters, we've got one that says A equals L times W, otherwise known as the rule for finding the area of a rectangle, where L and W stand for length and width. We've got another one to do with rectangles. This time it's the perimeter formula or rule, where we've got 2 times the length plus 2 times the W will help us, or the width will help us find the perimeter. We've got one that helps us find the area of a circle. In this case, there's a symbol there you may or may not have seen before, which is called pi. And we have to multiply that by r squared to find the area. This one here in purple is actually a formula which connects the temperature in Fahrenheit to the temperature in degrees Celsius. This one here you may have seen before. It's a version of Pythagoras theorem which helps us to find the long side of a right-angled triangle when we know the other two shorter sides. And finally, one you've probably heard about. I'm wondering if you know what it means. And it's the very famous connection, E equals mc squared. Everyone seems to know about it. Does anyone know what the E, the M or the C stands for? I challenge you to find that out before you come back to your next class. Alright, some key ideas for today which are worthwhile jotting down. A formula or a rule is an equation containing two or more variables which shows how they are related. The subject of an equation is a variable that occurs by itself on the left-hand side of the equation. So for example, P, in this case, is the subject of this equation, P equals 2L plus 2W. It's on its own and it's on the left-hand side of the equation. Finally, to use a formula, what you need to do is substitute all of the values that you know and then solve the equation to find the final value. Alright, we're going to look at an example, a nice short and easy one today. We're going to use the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle, which we already know is P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the W, to find a couple of different things. So our first one here, we're going to use it to find P when L equals 4 and W equals 7. So your first task is to write down the rule, and then your second task is to substitute in all of the values that you do know. In this case, we know the length is 4, so 2L means 2 times 4, and we know the width is 7, so 2 times W will be 2 times 7. Now we evaluate, or we work out the answer. Of course, using BODMAS, we know that we need to multiply these two together, get those answers, and then finally add them together. So we've got 8 plus 14. So in this case, our perimeter is 22. So that's the first one done. The second part, we have to find L this time. We have to find the length when they've given us the perimeter and the width. So again, I'm going to begin by writing out the rule, and then I'm going to substitute in the values that I know. So this time I actually know the perimeter is 40, so I need to put that in, or substitute that in where the P once was. 2 times L, well, I don't know L, so I'm going to have to keep writing that as an L. And this time we know that W in this case is 3, so 2 times 3. Alright, I'm going to write this out now as simplified as I can. So 2 3s are 6, and now I need to solve it by making equivalent equations eventually getting the L by itself. So you know that we'll need to subtract 6 from both sides. So that means on the right hand side, the 6 will go. And on the left hand side, I'll have a new value, 40 take away 6, which is 34. And finally, by inspection, I can see that 2 times something has to equal 34. That something, the length in this case, must be 17. So I've answered the question that says find what L is when the perimeter is 40 and the width is 3. Alright, so what you need to do, read the question, write out the rules, substitute in, and then work your way through the problem so that you can get the variable you're after on its own. That's what solving equations is all about. Okay, short and sweet this one. You've watched this video, you've written the examples and the key ideas into your exercise book. Remember, it's always a good idea to put these ideas into your own words so that you can fully understand what's going on, and of course to jot down any questions and bring them in so that we can address those in the next lesson. Bye for now.